Hi everyone, this is Reverend Bonnie Rambob and Reverend Rajiv Rambob, co-pastors at Parkside Community Church, with an invitation to join Parkside on our Lenten journey.
For Lent this year, we're doing Breakup with White Jesus. It's an idea from a podcast we co-host with some friends, a Renacast. And the idea of Breakup with White Jesus is rooted in post-colonial thought, a vision of beloved community, of not one idea of what it means to be a Christian, but multiple ideas of what it means to be Christian. And we would want to approach that as best we can, where our minds and our hearts are decolonized.
You know, many of us grew up with Jesus images like these ones. Not only are they historically inaccurate, but they perpetuate this notion that white is better. It's subtle and yet really not so subtle message of white supremacy. And especially when you combine those images of Jesus, white Jesus, with empire, colonization, conquering, and capitalism.
We have a wide range of events this Lent. We're hoping to deepen our spiritual walk both individually and as a community. Each one of these events is grounded in our core values of community, diversity, justice, and spirituality.
So we're going to begin our journey on Ash Wednesday at 7 p.m. It'll be on Zoom. You could find the links everywhere. There'll be especially parksideucc.org is a place where you can find all the links for all of the events that we're about to mention. But on Ash Wednesday, we're going to face temptation. We're going to walk with Jesus into the wilderness and face that temptation, the temptation of whiteness, this idea that we can be self-reliant, this idea that it's okay to hoard things, that it's okay, that there is such a thing as pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, and that if we look out for our own at the expense of others, that's okay. We're going to face that temptation. And yes, please go to our website to find out how to access all of these events.
And to go over the other events of our Lenten series. On February 21, Sunday morning, 10:30 Pacific time, we'll be taking on pilgrims, pioneers, and slaveholders. These are traditional models that have been held up as ideals in the American context. And these ideals are full of white supremacy and genocide, sexism, racism, all undergirded by a particular, very skewed understanding of the Bible and what it means to be a Christian.
Second Sunday in Lent. The topic for that worship service, 10:30 on Sunday morning, is the cheap gospel: profit, promotion, and prosperity. We're going to take a look at how Jesus says, "Get behind me, Satan," when he is faced by one of his friends telling him, "We can promote you." And he says, "Get behind me, Satan." So we're going to take a look at the text, the scripture, and relate it to whiteness.
And then on March 7th, the hope in divesting from white Jesus. You see, each of us as an individual, we have a limited capacity to do things at any given moment. And part of the idea here is to free up some of our personal resources, to divest them from the white Jesus paradigm and allow those resources to be reinvested in new ways of seeing Jesus and community.
And then the next Sunday, we're going to look at moving from individual Jesus, one Jesus, to multitudinous Jesus. I mean, what is it like to imagine Christianities rather than just one Christianity with one particular way of practicing, way of imagining who God is, and also who Jesus is. So we're really looking forward to expanding our horizons.
And then the following Sunday, rediscipling. So with all this breaking apart, breaking up with, tearing down, what's next? We begin that conversation on what rediscipled Christianity can look like after you've broken up with white Jesus.
And then the final Sunday in Lent, Palm Sunday, we're going to take a look at what it means to belong together, belong to each other as beloved community, coming from many, many different places, and yet connected, seeing one another in all of our various identities, loving one another.
And then for Holy Week, on Maundy Thursday, we'll be doing a service, Bring Your Dirty, Tired Feet to the Table, because we at Parkside Community Church, we have no barriers to access the table, to access the meal of communion. And we invite anyone to join us. And then on Good Friday, we're going to have a joint service with partner UCC churches in the Sacramento region. It'll be Parkside in Sacramento, Elk Grove, Lodi, Woodland, and Loomis.
And then we have other events that we are also planning during this season of Lent. We have a couple of justice events that our justice team has been working hard to put together. On February 18, the day after Ash Wednesday at 7 p.m., they will be presenting on dismantling racism in Sacramento. We'll learn a little bit about the historical background of racism in Sacramento, how it's infiltrated areas of life such as housing, education, employment, businesses, government, and church. We'll also learn about local organizations who have resisted racism and fought against racism, especially the resistance movements within Black church in Sacramento. And also we'll decide, what can Parkside do right now, right here, to dismantle racism? And then on March 18, which is the third Thursday in March, we will be looking at making amends for a colonizing past. Parkside Community Church sits on the unceded lands of the Nisenan and Plains Miwok peoples, and our justice team will lead us through a conversation on how we could begin to make a right relationship with the Native peoples on our land, in our community. And the book club, every fourth Sunday of the month at noon, we read books and discuss books together. In February, we are reading I'm Still Here, Black Dignity and a World Made for Whiteness by Austin Channing Brown. And then in March, we will be reading Native, Identity, Belonging, and Rediscovering God by Caitlin Curtis.
And we have these small worshiping communities within our larger worshiping community called squads. Squads are a time where you get to gather with other Parksiders and folks really from around the country to deepen our spiritual walk, to pray together, to hear one another's needs, spiritual needs, and to support one another. For Lent, we will be focusing on diving deeper into various modes of Christianity. Underlying all of it is to recognize that Christianity has always been a global religion. In fact, it can be effectively argued that Christianity is an Eastern religion, and that is a difficult concept for many in the West. And the fact that white Jesus has always been a lie. So we'll explore global natures of ancient Christianity, or we should say Christianities. And it will also be a worshipful experience. When and how to sign up is all available on parksideucc.org.
And we're not leaving the kids out on this journey. We have an ongoing 15-minute Zoom Sunday school every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. That's for the younger kids. Each week they will hear a Bible story about this teacher Jesus and the way that he built community during his life on earth. And we have a brand new program starting up. It'll be a monthly program on Zoom on Wednesday afternoon at 4. And it's called Parkside Kids Connect for Community. This is like 4th, 5th grade through about 8th grade. Those kids who are passionate about doing good things in the community and want to come together with other kids to plan and brainstorm and then do those things. Look for information about that on our website as well.
You know, the way I try to imagine what we're talking about and what we will be talking about is God is a very large, expansive, never-ending mosaic. And where our perspectives are added to the mosaic to more fully complete the picture of God. Now, in the white Jesus mold, we would hand our mosaic over to white-minded leaders who would then strip it of its identity, its cultural nuance and richness. Whereas what we seek to do is to equip and empower and support and cheer on one another as we craft a deep, deep connection to our Christian faith and our walk that includes our ancestry, includes our particularities. So join us in this powerful and important work.
You know, we are so deeply inculcated with capitalist Western culture that it's going to take all of us holding one another in loving and accountable community to actually break up with white Jesus. And so we're going to be doing that together, holding one another, journeying together. And I imagine that we'll leave white Jesus in the grave when it's time for resurrection to come. And what a glorious morning Easter will be when we can see the whole kaleidoscope of Jesuses that are awaiting us. Join us. We look forward to connecting with you.
All the information can be found at parksideucc.org.